OJ, since you're listening, and we know that you are.
Wait, which are we going?
OJ.
Yeah, I was gonna say
OJ.
it's all if it's not true, if it's true, you know what I mean?
We're
Just look at the camera. That's his point.
yeah.
This is a tough one for us. How you been holding up?
I hope you joined us for that moment of silence for Orenthal James Simpson, Buffalo Bills running back, and sports analyst.
Hall of Famer.
He was, he was sports analyst. He
Analyzed sports.
he was a spokesman for Hertz. That's where he got the famous white Ford Bronco. Speaking of
Husband, father, grandfather, presumably, friend. 76.
he also killed his ex-wife, and a
Allegedly.
25-year-old man. But, allegedly. It's all alleged.
Everything
it's
is
all alleged,
alleged.
and we'll never know until we're dead. So
I
I genuinely hope that when we die, we get all the answers.
That'd be cool.
I need fucking answers. Because let me tell you guys, when this is the most prepared I've been for an episode, right?
Colin's done a lot of research.
It's been my entire day. It was my entire night last night. I fell asleep watching OJ shit. So, and
You fell asleep watching OJ shit?
no. OJ trial shit.
Like, stuff.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Yes. I'm using profanity for no reason. But so,
Really quickly.
right.
OJ Simpson has been a part of this show since its inception. Episode 1.
Yes.
And, we will break the fourth wall before we get into what today's episode will clearly.
When he says
about.
when he says we're gonna break the fourth wall, it's usually followed by a bunch of bullshit. But let's.
Listen. OJ has been almost a mythical being on our show.
Right.
And
My foot itchy. Join me for my foot itch.
yeah, join him.
Join me. Come
And
on.
we've talked about
Join
OJ at nauseum. In fact, today I uploaded a clip minutes ago
Yes.
in which OJ Simpson was used to censor Colin's mouth, his face.
Yeah.
OJ has been a face on an elf for us. OJ has been a part of technical difficulties.
Yes.
I had clips of OJ trying on gloves when they didn't fit for technical difficulties. Please stand by. Comedy, right? OJ has been a part of our lives in a way that he hasn't been for a lot of people, right? So OJ obviously at this point will never be on the show, right? Unfortunately, but
unless we shoot over to Walmart and buy a Ouija board.
true.
What do you think?
Listen, this is
do you
something that can happen at some point, without a doubt. I don't like Ouija boards.
Neither do I.
Can't fucking stand that
No,
shit.
I think we should burn it afterwards. But Or
Listen,
do
if
something,
we
whatever
do,
makes it
we
not
do
come
it. We
back.
ain't doing it here. Let me tell you,
Yeah,
I live in here,
right.
so
It'll be a special, like out in the woods.
OJ
We should do it out in the woods.
without a doubt.
Yeah.
Yeah, without a fucking shadow of a.
I think that's the safest place to do something. But
I want to preface everything like I usually do
Yeah,
by saying
let's-
we do not actually, and this is what I meant by breaking the fourth wall. We've never met OJ.
no,
We have no contact with OJ.
that's bullshit. We've met him all the time.
All right.
It's I'm joking.
You're not wrong. We have. He's a good friend of the show, and that brings me to why I look like this.
Right. I said, well, we should wear black to in respect for a human life that was lost.
You know what I was wearing when you texted me we should wear black?
Yeah. He was already mourning.
I was ready to
yeah,
go.
He was already mourning.
OJ deserves this. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
What may be the most ridiculous man
That's the only thing.
in the world, like in existence. What may be one of the most ridiculous stories, and we can call it an unsolved mystery
It's the trial of the century.
of the fucking century.
That's what it's. That's
The
what they call it.
sheer fact alone, and we obviously know, and some people are about to be educated by you, of the history of the Simpson case and all this stuff. But it is the world's only unsolved mystery. And on a day like today when we're honoring the fallen, you have to bust out the best whiskey that there is. Black Label, Eagle Rare. I mean, everything's got to be black today. And listen, I'm going to out of respect, I'm going to let you do your own pour. Pour one out for O.J. Simpson,
This
please.
is for you, O.J. Simpson.
This is for
Orenthal
you.
James
Orenthal.
Simpson,
Friend of the show,
Hall of Famer,
Hall of Famer,
sportscaster.
sportscaster, social media personality.
What is up, Twitter world? It's not the same.
I will say that by no means does this mean that this is the end of OJ for us. OJ will live on through the Whiskey Talks podcast permanently.
Oh, the jokes will evolve.
There will forever be a full-time third member of this show. It will always be, and it always has been, OJ Simpson.
OJ is here with us in spirit. I should turn that down.
I mean, fucking, it's not like this is professional.
Right. That's not.
Let's really quick a toast to our friend, our co-host, and
Sportscaster.
you know,
That's what he was most known for, was being a sportscaster in the 90s.
to what seems
That's the only
like
thing O.J. Simpson did in the 90s.
to what seems
Don't
like
look it up.
a ravenous bite from Mother Karma.
Yeah. And this just goes to show you, if the law doesn't get you,
Oh, that's the
cancer fucking will.
Ooh, wow.
Sorry.
All right. I mean,
What?
listen,
What was wrong with that?
I didn't say anything.
What was
wrong with it.
untrue about that?
I didn't.
If
well,
the law doesn't get you, cancer fucking will.
in this scenario, yeah. Is there a lot of scenarios like it?
No, I'm just
It's just a very unique man, a very unique story, a very unique history that I am really excited to learn more about from our. Listen, we are both individually in different ways Orenthal James experts, right?
Oh, that's what I want to preface this with. I am not a fucking expert. Don't fucking take what I say as fact. Take what I say as fucking opinion. Listen, I've done I've done a fair amount of research for this, but that doesn't mean I know everything. That doesn't mean I've looked at everything. It's possible to look at everything. I tried. I watched him put on the glove.
Say,
Above
above all else, though, with what you're saying, we did absolutely solve the case, but we're gonna get there.
Oh, by the end, we will tell you who actually did it. And is it OJ? You'll stick to the end. You gotta watch to the end. But so I started my research with Norm Macdonald clips.
As one would.
Right. One was he got into well, did you know Norm Macdonald like got fired from SNL because he was making
Yeah.
too many OJ jokes?
I did know that. In fact,
Yeah.
I believe you may have
And
been
I
the
just
one that told me that.
want,
a while back.
I also want to say, while we're on the subject of Norm Macdonald, it's so sad that Norm couldn't see this. I don't want to say it. You know?
R.I.P. Norm,
Right.
of course.
Right.
And, he's up there, looking most likely down at OJ, and thinking to himself, they were still really funny jokes.
Still glad I got fired for it.
I mean, listen, we are our own bosses here. We answer to no one other than allegedly the internet.
Right.
And that might be worse. Mm-hmm. But, guys, this is a tough one for us.
Yeah. Yeah, we're mourning.
So, Norm.
I was watching a bunch of Norm Macdonald clips about him making jokes about OJ. And I really can't do him justice if I tell them, so I won't. But there was a lot of real funny ones, right?
Mm-hmm. Of course.
Then I moved on to trial footage, and fucking Johnny Cochran, holy fuck,
That is so
an electric man,
infamous,
an electric man,
without a doubt.
ridiculous.
And this is you gotta understand arguably the most legendary case of all time.
it's the case
And
of
the
century, yeah.
lawyer, his name is Johnny Cochran.
Yeah, Johnny Cochran. You know what I mean? That's a fucking porn name.
Johnny
That's a porno.
Cochran.
That's a porno. That's a porn guy.
It's one letter away from cock ring.
Yeah.
Is Michael Jackson fucking you in the ass?
Me?
Is he fucking you in the? Well, you know what I mean by that.
No, you're fine. Yeah. I thought you were saying like, is my hair party?
No, you don't
but-
really have that issue.
Yeah, no, I already have the. But yeah. So I watched a bunch of trial footage, a bunch of documentaries where they gave their side, where they obviously think OJ did it. But I'm not trying to pat myself on the back. I just wanted more information. I like to try to get like both points of view. I think
course,
that's
yep.
interesting because you don't really with it. I mean, with like murder cases like this, you don't get. You do, but it's always and well, this is skewed as well, but it's very
Unique.
yeah. It's also it was a very complicated relationship between OJ and Nicole. We won't make jokes about the victims here. We're here to make jokes about the alleged killer. But so then I moved on to a podcast that I listen to. They do a bunch of like crime stuff. They did OJ one in 2015. I watched that, or I listened to that while I was working today.
Wow, bro, you really went in, huh?
And then, which they obviously think OJ did it. And we forgot to mention, OJ's a movie star.
Dude,
Naked
come on.
Gun,
He's a movie star. Listen, at the end of the day,
but
the juice had the juice. Juice had the
I
juice.
think what we should have done is found like a orange juice whiskey cocktail. Maybe for next
We're on a
episode.
time constraint. You gotta understand, time of recording.
Yeah.
This episode comes out Wednesday, April, whatever the fuck. And OJ
keep
died.
up.
OJ died yesterday? Yesterday. So that gives you an idea of when we're recording this. OJ died on April 11th. And when I got the news, I reached out to you immediately, dude, because he's like, listen, if anybody
You were
cares.
the first. You were the person who told me.
I got the news as it happened, like when it was
Yeah.
still breaking.
Damn.
Of course, I mean, I got a personal phone call to be told. And I was like, well, listen. At the end of the day, he went out swinging. Just like he does.
Probably not, but
Just like he does when he's at the golf course, man.
right.
And listen, I've seen that motherfucker swing, and his backswing doesn't look right.
Yeah.
And that's probably because of the cancer. What kind of cancer do you even have again? You prostate?
either prostate or balls. I'm not sure.
Testicular, right? I think it's testicular.
What are you gonna do?
Yeah.
But and then so after I listened to the podcast, with the people who obviously thought OJ did it again.
May I ask, and I don't want to get ahead, is there a lot of, because obviously there's conspiracy theories, did you come across a lot that didn't think he did it? Have other theories?
I can tell you, I don't remember very much about my father,
Yeah.
but he did believe OJ was innocent.
Really?
Yes.
Hey, man, maybe he had,
Maybe
a hunch about
he,
something.
Maybe he knew. He met Mike Singletary. Maybe he met OJ Simpson.
I'm thinking
maybe he told him personally. Like,
One
"Hey,
of
I
the
didn't do it."
large theories that I've heard is that it might have been his son involved. OJ's
I
son.
haven't come across that at all.
Really?
Yeah.
That surprises me.
Or no, I did in the podcast I was listening
I
to.
was going to say, somebody had to have mentioned it.
Yeah, they were saying
He was a big part of it, allegedly. That's what people thought. People thought that OJ...
now I can break it down from what OJ said about this
Okay.
because I
You listened to...
listened to the If I Did It book.
Which most people believe is just called I Did It.
Well, because the Goldman family, the family of Ron Goldman, the 25-year-old that was murdered, they published the book. And
It's crazy. They published the book that OJ wrote.
yeah,
That's
Yeah.
wild.
and
This is the
they started
craziest-
it off with basically fuck OJ. He's a bitch. He killed our son.
You
And
really
it's
that is the craziest.
Yeah.
It is truly the craziest fucking. It's like a South Park
no, but here's
episode.
here's the thing about it. And I told you this. When they were making the cover of the book, they put it so the full title is If I Did It, Confessions of a Killer. I think the Goldman family added Confessions of a Killer, but If I Did It, but if is really, really small on the cover, so it just looks like I did it. So
It's-
I listened to that, and he kind of broke down his relationship with Nicole, his relationship with his kids, and you can tell he loves his kids, which is it's sweet. But you didn't have to drive a knife halfway through her fucking neck, dude. You know what I mean?
I've also heard things because I don't know if I've ever watched the case or really even many parts of it. I heard that he kind of somewhat decapitated her.
Yeah,
What? How bad were we talking?
probably 2 years.
So he just
They were
really
saying,
lacerated
from-
the shit out of her neck.
Yeah.
So it was some detachment going on.
It was what's a larynx?
That's in your throat. It's right
Okay.
here.
It was to or past the larynx. I was
That's
told.
deep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, apparently, the larynx was visible.
That's crazy, dude.
So, sorry, we might get it. We won't get into gory.
No,
with,
this is
the
not-
details.
listen.
That's not why we're here.
We said last week that we are not the place to come for the news.
No.
We are also not the place to come
For
to
the
take
news that-
this too seriously either.
No.
This is simply just two guys who became OJ guys indirectly that deemed it appropriate that we spoke on it
Right. Right.
comedically,
So
which is
OJ
probably controversial.
OJ breaks down his life with from the time just before he met Nicole to obviously the end of the I'm just at the end of the book. I haven't finished it.
Yeah.
I have 30 minutes left of the audiobook.
Yeah. How long is the audiobook?
It's 6-7 hours. I listened
Damn,
to it
so
all
you,
today.
You were going at it, yeah.
But
Is it worth? Should I listen? Is it worth it?
honestly, if you want to learn more about it,
It's
Yeah.
interesting, right?
it's very interesting to hear from OJ's perspective because he genuinely believes he's innocent, whether it's just delusions or some crazy happened. Like, I'll get into like what he
Psychosis.
thinks happened because
Okay.
he never directly said it, but from what I can infer, like,
He has his theories.
yeah,
Assuming he's innocent, he has his own theories.
yeah. So he originally meets her at a restaurant. She's like waiting. She's 18 at the time.
And he is
Just getting out of a divorce. So
how old?
I don't know.
Is Juice at that point? Is he OJ? You know what I'm saying? Like, is he Buffalo Bills star running back?
Yeah.
OJ fucking Simpson. Okay.
But so they meet.
Yeah.
They eventually like have kids and everything. He'll randomly like throw shots at her for no reason, like saying like, "Oh, she went through this period where she gained weight," and like, it's like, I don't know why you're telling us this. Like, I don't get it. But it doesn't add to the story. It doesn't.
It's probably the
just
mind
weird.
of a killer. Like, let's be real. Like, all jokes aside,
Well,
this
do you know
is
that
the mind.
he did decline a lie detector test?
Yeah,
Do you know the reason why?
probably because he fucking killed her.
Because he was having dreams of killing her. So
Listen, that's a hell of a scapegoat. Let's be real. I mean, if he got away with it,
now
so
he gets into like all that like lead up. They have like they're on and off again, and they I'll skip to the like his what he thinks happened. So by the time like that time comes around where the murders happen, he doesn't like the friends that she was hanging out around. Says they were doing drugs. Apparently kinky sex. Apparently, I don't know.
listen, dude, when you got money, you have kinky sex.
Um,
Even when you don't have money, you have kinky sex.
right. I have no money and I have no.
Yeah,
kinky
but like
sex. So but
kinky sex.
right, but right, I have nothing. But it's fine. It's not about me.
What'd you just say? What was that last?
It's not about me.
Oh,
Yeah. So So OJ doesn't like.
doesn't approve of the group
Yes.
that she's associating
Yeah.
with.
And he like keeps questioning her like, "Are you doing drugs? Are you?"
Cheating. Is there any cheating involved in this?
Yeah. How'd you fucking know?
Huh?
How'd you fucking know?
Because that's a big premise of the
You know
whole
what's
thing.
crazy? They both fucking cheated.
Yeah, I think I remember hearing that.
Yeah.
At one point, that makes
Yeah.
a lot of sense. And now you can correct me if I'm wrong, because obviously you've done significantly more
I
research.
honestly think the more you ask me, the more it will jog my memory
Yeah.
from all day. So
Are we
keep asking
under the
questions.
assumption that it's OJ's claim that she cheated first, and maybe that triggered his infidelity?
What happened was, I don't know the time when she cheated.
Okay. Do you know the time when he did?
It was he was they had divorced already,
Okay.
and he had a girlfriend at the time, but he went back and they hooked up with his ex-wife.
With Nicole.
Yes.
Okay. So he cheated on his later relationship with Nicole.
Right.
Okay.
And
So maybe he-
Nicole cheated on him with an NFL guy. I forget his name, but
Tell me it was Marcus Allen. That's a lot later on though, I feel like.
I'll have to give you the name afterwards.
Shoot a Google search real quick. Unless you don't want to, it's fine. I'm just curious myself who Nicole
I don't know what I would search for that. Who did Nicole Simpson fuck? Like I'm
Who
not.
did Nicole Simpson? What NFL star? What NFL player did
Yeah.
Nicole Simpson? What's her last name again? I'm sorry.
Nicole Brown Simpson.
Brown. So you would Google what NFL star she had cheated on OJ with. There'd probably be something there.
Yeah, but the way that happened was they were talking at like dinner, and she just goes like, "He's not your friend," and then OJ's like, "What do you mean he's not my friend?" And he just goes like, he's not your friend. And he's like,
She kind of
Oh.
gaslights him. Is that what?
no, like that's how she tells him like, I cheated on
Yeah,
him.
yeah. By telling him he's not your friend.
Yeah.
Where'd that context come up in that? Was that some?
context?
So she brought it up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So almost like a come clean type of deal.
Yeah.
Unorthodox way of doing it.
Especially at dinner. I feel like there's a time and a place, but it's fine. We're not judging.
Yeah, I mean that's clearly just not
I gotta be honest,
the baseline. of this.
fucking one thing I'm not is a fucking relationship expert. I've been in two relationships in my entire life. They both fucking ended horribly. So,
I don't know. Is anybody really a relationship expert?
no. But, yeah.
So his
From what OJ said, OJ basically thinks that these druggies killed her. Like, that's what I inferred from what he was saying. Now,
this group that she was.
there's a
hanging with.
part in the book where, like, OJ stops talking about the relationship. He gets up to the actual murder, and he says, now, this is all hypothetical, and then he just fucking confesses in, like, great detail.
with
like,
explaining how he would do it if he did it. The premise of the book.
crazy detail. You wouldn't, like, you can't come up with that shit.
Well, can you elaborate? Can you tell me what he said? Tell us how he explains it for those that don't know.
So basically, he says that some guy named Charlie. There was no mention of a Charlie to this point in the fucking book. I felt like I fucking missed
gave
something.
himself an
I went
alias.
back. I went back 2 fucking hours to see if there was a fucking Charlie.
And re-listened.
Yes,
Throughout.
I re-listened two fucking
Oh
hours.
my god! Why are you?
He didn't mention a single fucking Charlie. He didn't mention a single
So
fucking
what
Charlie.
you're telling me
All
is-
of a sudden, there's just this Charlie here.
Okay, so
In
what
his
you're telling me
hypothetical
is
situation.
it's almost as if he gave himself an alias.
Maybe. But there was him and Charlie. It wasn't. He didn't say like, "Oh, Charlie did
Oh
it."
shit! So he basically
said-
says he has an accomplice in the situation.
Yeah.
Wow, could
Yeah.
that be his son?
So
You ever think about that? Could that have maybe been his son? This is why there's so much about his son, in my opinion, because
Wow.
there's a lot of speculation
Wow,
about
wow,
his
wow.
son. Tell me that's not kind of
Wow, wow,
fucking
wow.
wild.
that didn't click until now. Wow.
That makes a lot of
Okay.
sense, though, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Because his son fucking hated her, didn't he?
He didn't say anything about that. He really didn't say anything about
Maybe that's what I've heard.
I think that
in
was on purpose,
The
though.
reflection of everything, because I know he wanted to keep his son out of it as much as he possibly could.
it. So basically, OJ gets it. Like, OJ finds out that apparently she's having kinky sex. Those were his words. In like the house that their children are sleeping in, which
If true, disgusting.
right, that's
Not murder worthy. Nothing is.
No.
But disgusting.
no, right. So he hears about this and he's fuming. He's angry.
You know, you'd get that.
So he goes. He's like, "Oh, let's go over there. Let's go over there and scare the shit out of her." That's like he said that. Like, I'm not paraphrasing. In this book, he said that.
I really do think I'm going to listen to that.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Is it? What is it on? What do you
Audible.
use? Audible. How
Audible,
much
but
is
you
it?
could also buy it. It's a book.
Well, I'm saying, is it free to stream?
I can give you my account and you can listen. I don't fucking
I'll figure
care.
out. It's probably
I don't
online
give
for
a
free
fuck.
somewhere.
Yeah, maybe.
I'll search it up. If worst case scenario, just fucking pay for the book.
Yeah.
I don't want to read it. I want to listen to it.
But so like they go, "Oh, we're gonna go scare the shit out of her," which is like, okay, dude, your kids are fucking there. What are you doing? You're gonna go scare the shit out of her
With Charlie. Which, how old was his son at the time?
I don't know.
I think he was old enough, like plenty old
Yeah.
enough.
See, like that's the thing.
We don't fucking know.
Some things we don't fucking know.
We don't know shit. All right.
No, and any of you fucking idiots commenting, "Oh, I know." No, you don't. You don't know shit. None of us know anything. We're all fucking ants on a fucking rock. This sucks. None of us asked to be here. So stop fucking commenting. These are people. We're people. Back the fuck off. Make this a fucking clip.
Wait, you don't want people to comment on the clips anymore?
No, I don't mean that.
Let's have some fun here. What are you talking about?
Wait, I take it back.
Everybody can comment
Come
on this shit.
Just fucking be nice.
At this,
Stop calling me gay. I'm
You know
getting
what?
sick of it.
You know what's crazy though? In all fairness,
Yeah.
90% of the internet is the bad internet. We're getting mostly that 10% that's not.
Yeah.
Which is I can't.
Yeah,
Dude, I really
I'm kind of getting sick of being called gay, but we can move past it.
I feel
It's fine.
that.
Yeah, fucking like saying like, oh, he's wearing a bottom on his shirt. Okay, yeah, it's a SpongeBob
Dude, it's a
shirt.
SpongeBob.
It's a SpongeBob
I saw
shirt.
that.
Get the fuck
That
out
is
of here.
such a stretch. That is such a bad stretch. Like
You want me to be gay so fucking bad, don't you? I'm not. I'm not fucking gay. Back the fuck off. I'm not fucking gay.
not that there's anything wrong with it, because there's not.
No, but I just don't like being put in a box that I don't feel like I fit in.
Well, you don't fit.
No.
Fucking feel like you don't. You
No,
don't
I'm saying
fit
this is how I feel.
Yeah.
Anyways, OJ. I just don't like being called something I'm not. That pisses me off. But anyways, we love your comments. I'm not saying anything. OJ.
Let's go scare the shit out of her.
Yeah. So they drive over in the white Ford Bronco.
Classic. What a car.
And OJ pulls out a knife
This is
from
his
the back
words,
of his
right?
car. Yes.
Okay.
From the back of his car that he keeps for the hoodlums of Los Angeles.
Like a self-defense type of deal is what he's trying to get at, you think?
Yeah. But like OJ, in this hypothetical situation, OJ, since you're listening, and we know that you are,
Wait, which are we going?
OJ!
Yeah, I was gonna say
OJ!
it's all if it's not true, if it's true, you know what I mean?
We're
Just look at the camera. That's his point.
yeah. At that point, OJ, it's 1994 at this point. Buy a fucking gun. Why do you have a knife?
I mean, LA.
What are you gonna do?
L.A. I imagine is not the easiest.
What are
place
you
to
gonna
get a
do?
firearm? Right? What would you think?
Well, I guess.
fucking
I don't
cares?
fucking know. Never been to California.
Listen, that's obviously clearly not his weapon of choice. Like, I mean, listen, let's call a spade here.
Right.
All right, he didn't shoot his wife. His wife didn't get shot. I'm not saying he did. So, I mean, listen, the guy's got a knife.
Yeah. So
that
he
he
pulls
would
out a
use.
knife that he keeps for the hoodlums of Los Angeles.
Which there are.
Is just,
There are those.
If I'll be honest, any of you say like, yeah, I keep a knife in my car for the hoodlums of where we live. What? What do you mean? You keep a knife?
Do you keep any
You
weapons? in
fucking
your car?
psychopath? No!
Oh, I do.
What the fuck? There was one time. I thought I was going to die on the road.
What are you talking about?
Listen. This was at my job, not my last job, but my job before that. I was driving angry. I was almost home. I wanted to be home. I was driving anxious. I was angry.
Do I know
and
this story?
I just got off the highway, and I was passing a McDonald's, and I was driving. I was in
Yeah.
the middle of driving, right? And a 18-wheeler decides to just cut me off completely. And in my rage, and I'm not proud of this, and I'm
Not
not,
on
saying
the
this
highway.
is right. No, this is not on the highway.
What the fuck?
This is not on the highway. He I'm coming like this. Clip it. I'm coming.
You don't want the comments, but you say clip it when you say I'm coming.
Because I think it'd be funny. I don't know why. I'm fighting myself here. So
I'm coming.
I'm driving, right? And the guy's turning out, and as I'm here, I'm going.
Is he pulling out of a
I had to
parking lot?
slam on my fucking brakes.
He's pulling out of a parking lot to get onto the road. Is that what's happening?
He's pulling out of the tractor trailer. This is an 18
Where the McDonald's is.
where the 18-wheelers park.
Yeah. Okay.
He's pulling out. Literally, I had to slam on my fucking brakes.
Years ago.
This isn't years ago. This was
It's gotta be at
maybe a
least-
year ago.
yeah,
And I in my rage, and I'm not proud of this. I shouldn't have done this.
Am I bleeping this, or are we okay?
I have never done this again, and I never will do it again.
Okay.
I just took my hands off the wheel and flipped him off with both middle fingers.
Oh,
So he stops the truck, gets out
I don't know this. You never told me this.
because I hid it in shame. He gets out, knocks on my window, tells me to roll my window down. He's like, "What the fuck, dude? Why are you flipping me off?" And I was like, "I don't know. Who gives a fuck?" I was like, "Just go. I don't know you. Just go."
And what did he say? He just left?
Yeah.
I would have been like, because you cut me off, you motherfucker.
I was like, "What do you want? What am I supposed
I'm shocked he got out of his car to out of the truck to be like,
He stopped traffic to try and teach me a lesson to not flip people off. Do I flip people off anymore? No, I don't. Did I think he had a gun? Yeah, I did.
okay, that makes sense. Anyway, so, dude, I can't believe you never told me that story.
Yeah.
I got a story, but it's not one I want to tell on here. I'll tell you,
Yeah.
so he gets a knife that was for the hoodlums of L.A.
Right. And so they go. He gives the knife to Charlie, whoever this fucking Charlie is. And I don't like it because Charlie's the name of my dog. And I don't like you defaming my dog.
Speaking of defamation, fuck you, Brett Favre. Pussy. Anyway.
I just held something back. I didn't want to say it.
Fuck you, Brett Favre. Colin's in his rage mode. If you guys can't tell.
Kind of like OJ's about to get into in this story. Anyways,
Hypothetically.
fucking hypothetically. Fucking insane. So, they go to her house where she lives with the kids. And they see there's this guy here, and we need a little preamble for this story. She had forgot her glasses at this restaurant that they went to. So they had called the restaurant and said, like, "Hey, we left these glasses. Like, do you have them? Can you like keep them in a safe place or anything?" And they're like, "Oh, well, our one guy's getting off his shift in like 5 minutes. He can just run it over to you."
Really?
And
I don't know any of this.
that man was Ron Goldman.
That makes so much sense.
And so, allegedly, we're back to the allegedly part of the show.
Allegedly, Ron Goldman's involved in this.
He was
completely innocent.
He was there.
Yeah.
He was there giving the sunglasses back.
Okay.
Or glasses, whatever. Glasses. Yeah. It doesn't matter. And OJ goes up, immediately starts like, "What the fuck are you doing here?" Just like...
Assuming there's sexual cheating.
Yeah. He's like, "Oh, I'm a waiter at this restaurant. I'm dropping off these glasses that they called it, all that." And he's like, "What the do you fucking think I'm this is how he did it in the book. I'm not kidding. Do you think I'm stupid?" And then Ron Goldman's like, "I don't think anything. I'm just trying to give her glasses." And from OJ's perspective, he blacks out. Or Nicole comes out, starts screaming at him to leave because he's screaming at some guy that's just trying to give the glasses back, right? Mm-hmm. Nicole comes out, tells him to leave, and he blacks out.
According to him.
Yeah. And he says, basically, the next thing he sees is Nicole on the ground in fetal position, not moving, and Ron Goldman leaned up against a fence, not moving, and blood all over him.
Yeah, dude, this is without a doubt a confession.
I am not giving you the amount of detail that he did.
It's like...
I am not doing this justice. I want
and we
to
shouldn't.
let you guys know, I am not doing this justice. You need to, if you want to know more about this, listen to the book.
I encourage people to. I encourage people to. Because listen, I know that you got more here, but the fact of the matter is, the whole premise of the book of if I did it is that you would have no gaps, right? You wouldn't have a mental gap.
Right.
Because like, oh, if I do it this way, and you would explain how you did it.
Right.
You wouldn't
Say you blacked out.
black out.
You wouldn't say in your hypothetical, like, oh, I blacked out.
No.
Had a gap in my memory and I was just covered in blood.
No. That is an experience.
So, next thing OJ does, he comes to, he's like, is this blood? Is this my blood? Am I hurt? Guy's immediately like, me. Oh, me.
narcissism.
Oh, me. Oh, me. Right. And, he eventually like looks around and Charlie
Chaplin.
is like in shock, apparently. Like he is not talking, he is like stammering, he's not like comprehending anything that's happening, like, or he is to the point where he's like just
In
frozen.
shock. Yeah.
And OJ just is being an asshole to him. Just saying, like, knock the fuck out of it! Like, we need to get the fuck out of here! So they do, and they eventually go back to OJ's house because OJ had to go on a flight to Chicago at 11, and this was like maybe 10:45.
Damn.
So he had to fucking book it. Like the limo was getting there at like 11:45 or something like that. Something like that.
Okay.
Around that time frame.
Either
But,
way, damn close to where.
yeah. Like
he had to rush.
like in this hypothetical, he murdered her and then went to fucking Chicago
Why was he going to Chicago?
for golf. To golf.
To golf. So this is because I don't remember.
But the thing is,
OJ played in the 70s, 80s.
yes.
So OJ at this time is
From what
pushing 50 years
now,
old.
here's
right?
another
Almost
fucking
40.
thing. Here's a fucking. Let's bring up his fucking football career for one fucking second. OJ Simpson, you're not the best fucking running back in the history of the NFL.
No.
Walter Payton is.
I don't think anybody would say.
I won't argue it.
I don't think anybody would say OJ's number one.
No, people
think-
did.
Who? Maybe back then.
Maybe.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, but
I
even
mean, he
then,
was-
it's debatable.
They called him Michael Jordan before he was Michael Jordan. He was pretty big.
I mean, at that time,
Right.
when OJ was in his prime, I think that was like, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But other
I,
running backs have come
I don't know that I'd put him
and
top
gone
5.
that are, you know,
Walter being one in your case, I can't argue with it. Walter's my 2. But I'm like perfectly fine with him being 1. I don't really
Who's
care.
your 1?
Barry is
Okay.
my 1.
okay.
But I wouldn't really. I just like 1A, 1B.
See, now,
flip-flop,
Barry-
could give a fuck.
Barry didn't slaughter the mother of his child. So, but
It's fucked up because I knew that was coming, but it was still funny. Really quickly.
yeah,
I would say you flip flop Walter and Barry all you want. I put Jim Brown in there. Mm-hmm. I'd put probably put Eric Dickerson in there maybe somewhere, and I would likely put LaDainian Tomlinson somewhere up there. Maybe Adrian Peterson. Those are my guys.
isn't that great? We grew up with Adrian Peterson.
We grew up with a lot of great players.
that's cool.
Yeah,
We didn't realize it at the time, but anyways,
AP is an all timer for sure.
yeah. I used to put my 2 couches together to make one big bed and watch us lose
Really?
to the Vikings. Yeah,
That's fire.
no, I think we won. We won against the Vikings.
I mean, back then AP never had a quarterback, so I would.
Yeah. Anyways,
Back to the murder.
so he's like, "Oh, we got to get the fuck out of here." He's like, "Gotta listen to me, listen to me, listen to me." Like he's really like putting himself as like.
It's
the
almost
big
like
macho
he's
man
like
in this fucking.
reliving it.
Yeah.
Like the emotions he's going
I just think
through.
it's crazy to be like, this is all hypothetical, and then just write a confession.
And the fact that I'm only hearing this the first time through you, yet I still hear the emotion from him, just kind of takes you on a trip because it really goes to show you like this being hypothetical is like you wonder how did he get away with this shit, yo? Like it's crazy. The guy did. He did.
I'll be honest, and this has no. I have no agenda.
Neither of us do.
Genuinely no agenda. I don't care.
You don't care.
Quite
Who
frank.
did it?
No, like I I can barely handle myself, so I'm not gonna tell fucking you what
Well, yeah.
fucking what you should be doing or whatever the fuck.
That's not the business we're in. We're not in the business of telling you what to think or what to believe.
Right.
We don't
But
fucking know what to believe.
a big part of this case was race.
Yes, it was.
Because it was following the Rodney King riots, which were horrible. Of course, we
Yep.
won't touch on that because I mean, I'm sure you've heard of them, but that was still very like fresh on people's minds. So a lot of people, and
played a role.
I'm not saying everyone, but a lot lot just wanted a black man to beat the court
innocent.
system, beat the court system.
Yeah.
Which like didn't happen.
Right or wrong, that was definitely a stigma, if you will, about this case. And listen,
It's I know it's hard for like people to not put race into it, but like we're all people, you know. Come on,
we're all people. I
come
agree.
on, you know what I mean.
Did,
Anyways, I love you all. I don't have a hateful bone in my body. I don't have an
Except for
agenda.
Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, and Brett Favre.
Fuck you, Brett Favre. Shoot
yeah.
pussy.
And the entire Packers organization, all their owners.
That's really just rooted from passion. I don't think it comes from hatred. It's just passion in the other way.
Passion.
Passion.
Anyways,
Can I ask you a question?
yeah, sure.
In your listening, in your learning, and in your, we'll call it research for lack of a better word, what was spoken of these gloves? Because, in the words of Johnny Cochran, if you
I
don't
left
mind,
something out.
if the glove doesn't fit, you must acquit.
That's right. Which I'll get into that. What I think happened there, why the glove didn't fit. But there was I left something out.
Please.
As they were like going to skirt the shit out of her, right?
So he must mention gloves. The gloves.
He does.
Okay.
As like they're getting the knife and everything, he reaches for a ball cap and his gloves. That he says he keeps that ball cap for the chilly mornings on the course. This guy fucking loved golf.
Even
Fucking loved golf.
to the day he died,
Yeah,
golf was post NFL was his life.
yeah.
Without a doubt. Everybody knows that OJ, big golf guy.
He's quoted on saying, "When I golfed, all my problems disappeared." He's also quoted on saying, "I'm a coward." He's also quoted as saying, "I'm guilty." You know,
He
But-
said that.
I'm
you're just
running through
spitballing.
fucking things he said in the book, but he did say,
So
I'm
he
guilty
mentions
in a
grabbing
sarcastic
gloves.
way. Yeah, he says he grabbed his.
Is
ball
that as
cap.
far as he goes with the gloves?
Well, he took it off to grab the knife, apparently. So, and I guess another thing with this case, this was the first real case where DNA analysis was used. Mm-hmm. So a lot of people didn't believe in it. A lot of people didn't.
Flawed.
They
could
didn't
say-
trust the science yet.
At that point, as it been so new, and especially since then to now, I mean, here we are 30 years later.
Yeah.
It has evolved in ways that kind of proves that at that point 30 years ago it was very flawed and there was many ways that things could be shown as very inaccurate, whereas now it's much harder for inaccuracies to pop up. 30 years ago an inaccuracy wasn't all that uncommon.
Yeah.
So what DNA do you know what DNA they took from everything?
Well,
What
they
they
found
tested?
they found blood at the crime scene, obviously,
Mm-hmm.
because from OJ's words, they were lying in a huge puddle of blood.
Which, yeah.
I believe, not to get into too gory details, but Nicole was stabbed like 30 something times in the face, hands,
It was about everywhere.
chest, thighs,
Upper body,
everything.
fucking whatever.
It was just a rage. Just about the same for Ron Goldman, I believe. And yeah, he says he fucking blacked out. Like it, which is like, I feel like
I think you're absolutely right.
if you're
in your-
saying how you would do it, you don't black out.
I completely agree with
That's-
that, and I also completely agree with the way you feel about him, about this being a hypothetical, but it being a confession, and him being.
I think he wanted to confess, but he didn't want the ramifications of confessing,
Yeah.
so he did this. And a lot of
Do you think
he
that
shifts a lot of blame? I will say that
Well, that was what I was going to say. So he
nothing's
blames.
his fault.
He blames. Well, that's a narcissist.
In his head, he is the most good-natured person.
That's narcissism. Yeah. That's. Listen, I know you got probably plenty more you can go into, but there's without a doubt, and this is before we all dive into facts, stories, and all that about OJ. He had always been a narcissist. That had always been the character that OJ portrayed. They even said in like documentaries of him as a football player that he wasn't necessarily a bad guy. It's not that he was disliked, but he was a narcissist, right? And narcissism is a very I know that nothing is 100%. But narcissism follows murderers, serial killers, almost unanimously. So,
But OJ's not a serial killer. I will say
no.
that.
Murderers in general,
Right.
especially, I mean, listen, none more famous really than the OJ situation.
Just the only thing that gets me is if he like it really does like read through that he loved he loves his children.
Yeah. Which I believe.
But how do you do it?
How do you do what?
How do you kill the mother of your children?
Listen, dude.
I think that's
who the
crazy.
fuck knows that?
I don't think he meant to. I think
he's
I
telling
don't
the
think
truth.
I don't think he ever planned to do it.
No.
It was just rage
He's
filled.
probably fully honest when he says, I blacked out.
Because he was saying like he was hearing music outside of the thing, like outside of the house, like thinking like, oh, she's probably having people over. Like he thought Ron was one of the guys she was having over.
Affair was.
And I guess another thing, fucking OJ just fucking insults Ron Goldman for no fucking reason.
What do you say?
Ron Goldman was into karate. Mm-hmm. So, like, when things were starting to get physical,
But he blacked out.
he got into, like, a karate stance, right? And OJ has said that if he wasn't so mad, he would have laughed at him.
For standing like that?
And he's like, do you think you could take me with that stupid fucking stance or so, whatever the fuck? I'll play the whole thing for you after this.
I am going to listen. I'm absolutely interested enough to listen.
All right, so I won't play it for you then.
Yeah, because I definitely want to hear it through.
Yeah.
So he remembers that, but he doesn't remember blacking out. He blacks out when? Like, obviously he blacks out, but that sounds like something that would have happened after he would have blacked out.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? So that, again, that's another characteristic.
Well,
that's called recall. That's when you have gaps of memory. Go ahead.
I have gaps of memory.
When you have gaps in your memory...
You're experiencing it right now because I'm remembering shit and I'm adding it.
That's okay. Gaps of memory when it comes to this type of a situation is a direct correlation of... He's probably telling exactly the truth because that's a correlation of blacking out. Because you can black out and then throughout time you remember little bits and pieces of the memory that you've completely erased, essentially. And that sounds like that, which is why it's so... I'm not going to say obvious. And listen, if the ladies and gentlemen involved in the judiciary process were not able to point enough evidence towards convicting him, there's no world we live in where you and I can. Right? So let's obviously pay respect to that. And listen, you can say what you will about if you were in a particular place you think you could do better, but the reality is we've never done that for a living. They have. Right?
This was too serious.
It's fucking OJ. It had to have been.
Okay.
But be that as it may, this is like... I feel that... I feel similarly to you, if not the same. Where it's like, you're right. I think he did want to confess. And I agree. I think he went about it as intellectually as he possibly could to where everything still remained alleged and hypothetical, because he would preface everything by saying all that. It makes you wonder, after something like this happens, right, and he allegedly, hypothetically confesses to a story that he says is false, is that not grounds to reopen a case?
Honestly, this book came out in like 2006, so
Still, that's called a cold case, in which many murders have. Listen, I think it's only like what they say, like 1% of cold cases in America ever get solved. You ever watch Cold Case Files? It's
I've heard
dark.
of it, yeah.
It's dark, and it's depressing. It's terrible, but it's interesting.
yeah. But what I like to do at work is
You listen to the true crime stuff.
a lot of it.
It's interesting. It's all horrible. And listen again. We're a
But
podcast.
it's
We're
interesting to see inside like the mind of the killer.
the alleged killer, and in the true crime stuff, you're 100% right. It's ultimately it is a psychological study that is conducted some way, shape, or form. And I was about to say, we are a podcast. We have said dozens of times that we're idiots.
Yeah.
We've said dozens of times that nothing here is meant to be taken seriously. And yeah, this got serious. Yeah, this had comment. Look at the way I'm fucking dressed. This is.
I told him to wear black.
This
I
is
don't know
a
what I
joke
wanted, you know?
like we make jokes. We look ridiculous intentionally. Well, at least one of us in this situation does, and
My shirt's
we
a little
make
too small,
we can argue. We make light of a lot of situations, and maybe this is not a situation to make light of. However, this is a situation from 1994 that is unsolved. Legally unsolved, and. Again, it was not that we're the type of people to talk about this. It's just simply that OJ is someone we referenced on the show ad nauseum.
Yeah.
So we could not, out of the pure interest of ourselves, get into this. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I will say, like, him passing made me look back into it. And
Yeah, of
that's
course.
what kind of made this episode.
I'm sure we're going to have new documentaries.
Yeah.
New in-depth analysis. I wouldn't be surprised if somehow OJ's brain is submitted for science.
It should be.
It should be. It absolutely should be.
You know, that's
CTE, listen, if anybody right now should have their brain donated to science, sign on the dotted Tonio Brown.
Tonio Brown.
Without a shadow of a doubt. Do you follow him on Instagram, on TikTok, fucking Twitter, X?
I
is
see
the
the stuff.
funniest
I see
shit.
the stuff he posts. Yeah.
CTESPN. That is so fucking funny. He's so shocked.
He should be a comedian.
He's shocked. Yeah, but then he'll probably,
Do something.
sexually assault people. That's something he started doing once or twice.
He's probably already.
Did you ever
doing
see the
that, I'll be
video?
honest.
I think we talked about it on the show where Antonio Brown flops his pain out of the water.
You said Antonio Brown
Whatever.
flops out his penis.
We got a couple minutes left. I really want to get into to this because the time of the world that we live in and a lot of current events and a lot of alleged happenings that we're experiencing 2024, we're in April at the moment. Do you feel that it is a coincidence that O.J. Simpson passes and we're likely to maybe learn more things from his passing? That this comes weeks after the situation with P. Diddy? Because the book is called I Did It.
If I did it.
I Did It. And the documentary,
The F is real small.
the question that 50 Cent asked was, did he do it? You think it's possible that Diddy did this? Brother Love,
How old was he in 1994?
old enough.
Was he an old fuck?
Can I ask you a question?
Isn't he an old fuck?
Has Diddy, he's old enough for sure, yeah.
Yeah.
Did he ever have an alias of Charlie?
Not that I know of. Listen,
I'm not at liberty to say.
we're not at liberty to say.
If O.J. Simpson is innocent, we can all agree that Diddy is not. Why don't we just throw this one on him, too?
Yeah, why not?
Fuck it.
Why not?
How does that make you feel?
So, guys, it was P. Diddy.
It was P. Diddy. Yeah.
From my findings,
P. Diddy had significantly smaller hands than O.J. It would fit in those gloves just fine.
which, by the way, the reason why he couldn't fit in those gloves is because he did not take his arthritis medication, so his joints couldn't
Swollen.
move.
They were inflamed.
Yeah, I know.
So he could. That's fucking crazy.
Yeah, it's smart as shit.
Yep. They didn't think of that shit like during the fucking trial. Like, come on. All right. A little bit of a send off here. One last time for OJ. You and I know. I mean, I'll give you a little bit to sip as of. Tell me one.
When?
One last toast to OJ Orenthal James, friend of the show. What would have been future guest on the show.
But we could still buy a Ouija board and fucking try to get him on.
I'll tell you what. Bad day to be Kanye West.
You think so?
Because listen, if there was ever a time where we shift our focus towards Jesus, it's now by process of elimination. No pun intended. To OJ.
So OJ.
Hey OJ. How's your fucking sister?